I was told to provide my passion. I had the privilege of working many years with the United Nations, and in that context, design and even write into the protocol the carbon market of the Kyoto Protocol, which is now trading $150 billion a year. And my passion in that context is to bring the issue of sustainable banking to a completion of the Kyoto process that was started in 1997 with the creation of the carbon market, which became international law in 2005, and now a process that has to be completed to put lower bounds on emissions in the whole world economy. We didn't get very far on that in Copenhagen, and we have the next chance in Mexico. So in that context, I want to tell you about my passion for developing sustainable banking for a sustainable economy. So I'm going to push forward the version of sustainable banking that not only is sustainable as a banking concept, but also deals with how to use sustainable banking to transform the world economy into a sustainable economy.
Hello. Well, as the grieving and the clear-up continues in Chile after the strongest earthquake ever recorded, we're going to be talking about mankind's difficulties in thinking ahead about catastrophic events with Graciela Chichilnisky, the international economist. So how, if we have this problem of dealing with extreme risk and fear about that, how do we make ourselves cleverer? How do we start to adapt so that we can deal with, for instance, climate change?
Well, we have to stop denying. We have to start looking at the risk in its face. We have plenty of ways to look at these risks and to prepare against them. The critical thing is to somehow throw away conventional wisdom that we carry since von Neumann's work in the 50s.
Actually, you're a very firm believer in man-made climate change. Why do you think so many people remain sceptical?
I'm not a firm believer in climate change. I think the science is uncertain, and I think the people are right to have skepticism. And we need to examine the data. I'm a firm believer in examining the data.
Oh, I misunderstood. You don't believe in man-made climate change?
I believe there is a risk, a serious risk of man-made change or human-made change. I don't believe that we have the certainty, and we don't need certainty. We act when we face a risk, even if we are not sure it's going to happen. Think of yourself. Do you own fire insurance for your house?
And got smoke detectors.
Do you not? You have to be protected. Are you sure your house is going to burn? The probability that your house will burn is much higher than the 25% or even the 20% that are sure that there is man-made change. In other words, if you look at the risks, the potential risk of catastrophic climate change is very substantial, and the could be is enough to protect. The whole reason for creating the carbon market of the Kyoto Protocol is because it changes the economic value and the pricing of everything in the world. And it makes anything which is based on clean energy more profitable, and anything which is based on dirty energy more expensive and undesirable. I want to emphasize the profitable part, because although we think that investing in this way can make us poorer, and you can see the rationale before the carbon market, that's true. After the carbon market, the net cost of dealing to the world economy, of dealing with the over emissions is zero, because somebody is going to make money and somebody is going to lose money. And through the carbon market, they wash out. The amount of money that is paid by the over-emitters, who should be paying because they are emitting too much, is received by the under-emitters, the ones who are cleaner. And in the world economy, it's a wash. So really, with the carbon market in place, there is no price to the world economy to turn into sustainable development in the sense of carbon emissions. We do seem to have now an agreement among the wealthy nations on limiting emissions. For as long as we don't actually do what we need to do in physical terms, the climate change could continue, we need the third generation carbon capture technology, which is carbon negative. This technology has the ability to build power plants that suck carbon from air and mobilize the profit-making energy industry that we just heard about into doing what they do best. We have to transform the energy industry from the foes to the friends. And if you talk with the leaders of E.ON, Duke Energy, SSE, PG&E, etc., they will say, we don't care what power plants we build, as long as we make money. The point here is very simple. They don't necessarily have an attachment to the fossil fuel power plant. They do have an attachment to making money. It's not an attachment, it's a mandate. And we need that for sustainable finance. So the question is to take that into consideration and go in that direction. Why? Because $200 billion invested in a fund that only invests in power plant companies would have the credit ranking, so it would be a vanilla type instrument that would be available to all investors. Everybody invests in Exxon, everybody invests in the energy companies all over the world. So what you want is almost paradoxical, is to support the companies that are now producing most of the CO2 and to have an instrument based on the credit ranking of those companies. So we are going to have to transfer funding to the rich, but to build clean plants in the poorest nations. So here is my blueprint for sustainable development. We need clean and abundant energy available worldwide, supporting sustainable growth in developing nations, providing a global market for industrial technology, air capture and solar thermal sources of energy that can be used to reduce atmospheric carbon. With Kyoto funding, approximately $200 billion for 15 years, that can be used to renew the $43 trillion power plant industry infrastructure worldwide. It's a private-government approach based on industrial technology, financial markets leadership, self-funded and highly profitable new markets with carbon credits as the underlying, based on the Kyoto Protocol CDM or its successors, providing abundant clean energy to stave off the impending energy crisis in developing nations, and mutual beneficial cooperation for the North and the South, the two sides of the coin. Thank you.